Welcome back, everyone. Tonight, we're going deep into the heart of Ireland, to a place soaked in blood, betrayal, and bone-chilling legend. This is Leap Castle, a structure built over 500 years ago by the ruthless O'Carroll clan. From the outside, it looks like something out of a fairy tale. Towering stone walls, heavy iron gates, ivy creeping along weathered brick. But inside, it's a different story. Leap Castle isn't just a relic of Ireland's medieval past. It's widely believed to be the most haunted castle in the country and possibly the world. Behind its cold walls lie stories of murder, madness, and a darkness that refuses to fade with time. Visitors report ghostly figures, unexplainable cold spots, disembodied voices, and most famously, a sinister presence simply known as the Elemental. But tonight, I want to share something even more disturbing. A room deep inside the castle where the air freezes, the walls seem to breathe, and your body begins to react in terrifying ways. This is the story of Leap Castle's Bleeding Room. One of the most infamous rooms in Leap Castle is known today as the Bloody Chapel, and the name isn't just for effect. Back in the 1500s, the O'Carroll family, who built and ruled the castle, was torn apart by bitter power struggles. One brother, a warrior, the other, a priest. They fought not only for control of the land, but for the loyalty of their people and their God. During Mass, in front of their own kin, the warrior burst into the chapel and drove a sword into his brother's chest, right at the altar. The priest fell, bleeding out on the stone floor he'd preached on for years. They say the walls still echo with screams no one ever heard. But that wasn't the chapel's only secret. Centuries later, in the 1920s, workers renovating the castle made a chilling discovery behind one of the walls, a hidden oubliette, a pit-style dungeon used for torture and death. Inside, they found wooden spikes at the bottom and dozens of human skeletons impaled upon them. It was so full, it took cartloads to remove all the bones. No one knows how many people were thrown into that pit, but one thing is certain. Leap Castle was never just a home. It was a place of punishment, betrayal, and blood. Leap Castle isn't just haunted by its bloody history. It's haunted by what remains. Many who've dared to explore its halls have reported unsettling encounters, but two spirits stand above the rest, in fear and in infamy. The first is known only as the Elemental. Witnesses describe it as a hunched, rotting creature, short in stature, with decaying gray skin, claw-like fingers, and sunken black eyes. But it's not just what you see, it's what you feel. People say when the Elemental is near, the air becomes suffocating, the temperature drops, and a putrid smell, like rotting flesh and sulfur, fills the room. A former owner of the castle, Mildred Darby, wrote of her own encounter. She said, "Something was crouching on the stairs. It was about the size of a sheep, thin, gaunt, shadowy. Its eyes gave off a phosphorescent glow. I couldn't move. I couldn't scream." Some believe the Elemental is a protective spirit, awoken when the castle is disturbed. Others think it's something darker, a force born of centuries of blood and betrayal, now bound to the stone itself. And then, there's the Red Lady. She's seen walking the corridors in a flowing crimson gown, holding a dagger in her hand. They say her face is sorrowful, almost beautiful, until you meet her gaze. Then her expression twists into one of rage and grief. Legend has it she was held captive within the castle, assaulted, and left to suffer alone. When she gave birth, her child was taken and killed. In her despair, she ended her own life. But she never left. To this day, guests claim to have seen her standing silently at the foot of their beds or gliding past mirrors, vanishing into walls. Two spirits, one of rage, the other of sorrow, both still watching, still waiting, inside Leap Castle. There's one part of Leap Castle that few talk about, because most don't even know it exists. Tucked away at the far end of the upper floor, beyond the marked guest rooms and curated tours, there's a door that's usually kept locked. No number, no signage. Just a heavy wooden door, and a strange, icy draft that seeps from underneath it. Those who have been near it say the temperature around it is drastically colder than the rest of the castle, up to 30 degrees colder even in summer. And when someone gets too close, their body responds. Nosebleeds, headaches, sudden dizziness. One visitor claimed they felt like their blood pressure dropped through the floor. Another was found passed out just outside the door, bleeding from their nose and whispering something no one could understand. No one stays in that room. The staff won't speak about it. Some say it's where Maryad, the mad governess, locked herself in after the children she cared for disappeared without a trace. She was found days later, eyes wide, bleeding from her ears. Still breathing, but completely broken. Some believe it's not a ghost that haunts the room, but an imprint, a wound in reality, left behind by something so traumatic it froze time. And once a year, during the last week of October, the door unlocks itself. No one opens it. But every year, without fail, it opens wide, as if inviting someone in. Leap Castle has stood for centuries, its stones soaked in history and in blood. But it's not just the past that lingers here. It's the feeling that something is still watching, still listening, just beneath the surface. You can renovate the walls, you can lock the doors. But how do you erase murder, betrayal, and grief that echo through time? Visitors continue to report cold spots, whispers, shadowy figures, even physical symptoms, nosebleeds, nausea, fainting. These aren't stories pulled from dusty books. These are happening now. Because at Leap Castle, the line between history and haunting doesn't blur. It vanishes completely. And maybe that's the real horror, that some places never forget, and some rooms never forgive.